Hey YouTubers, this is my first video. My first video ever really on anything, so I'm probably a little bit behind in technology, but that's just the way it is. I want to talk about, like my screen name is, depression, and my thought process in this is basically to talk about it because I go through it on a pretty consistent basis, and I'm really trying to revert back to the basics to try and overcome it. So my thought is, well, maybe I can help myself out by making a video diary of what I'm going through, but also kind of open it up to other folks that may be going through the same thing, maybe have gone through it, and put a dialogue together where maybe we can help each other out and maybe get through this thing together, and make life a little more palatable and enjoy life a little bit, because I think I'm missing out. So this first video is basically to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to try and do this 2 or 3 times a week, and you know, maybe we can help each other through this thing. So my name is Mark. I'm 41 years old, married, 3 kids. I'm a professional. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, so I've pretty much been self-employed for 20 years in one aspect or another. And about three years ago, I really started dealing with some depression issues. I've probably been through it, now that I think back, a lot through my whole life. It just was not as severe. I just kind of dealt with it and moved on. But about 3 years ago, I realized that I probably needed to get some help. My first bout with it lasted a couple of months. Serious bout lasted a couple of months, and I pretty much worked through it on my own, with the help of my wife. I shouldn't say on my own, because I do have a supportive wife. But it was a tough thing. It was tough on my family. It was tough on my kids. It was tough to see their dad go through, you know, the stages of crying and not being able to get out of bed and doing all those things that all of us have probably gone through. So we got through that first stage of it, but then it happened again about 6 or 7 months later. And that was pretty disconcerting. I was going through a stage of my life where my business was growing very rapidly, and I had a lot of people relying on me, like I always have. I've had that since I was young. And the pressure of everything happening. My wife and I built a new house, and the business was growing, like I said, and it just kind of all came down on me all at once. In fact, I remember we were moving into our big, beautiful new home, and I was so down in the dumps. And I remember the cable guy coming to hook up the cable. And he said, "Boy, you don't seem too happy about moving in this house." And it kind of hit me. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. And that should be a time in your life when you're very happy. So I decided to seek some help about that episode, and started seeing a psychologist to do some talk therapy, and saw a psychiatrist to look at some medication, and he prescribed Lexapro. So we went on Lexapro 2.5 years ago or so. 6 months later or so, it hit me pretty hard again, and I told my wife that I just couldn't deal with it anymore. The suicidal thoughts and the different aspects were getting pretty serious, and I just couldn't deal with it. So we decided to go into a outpatient hospital for a while. I was there about 4 weeks, and it was outpatient every day. So, you know, it wasn't bad enough I couldn't get up in the morning, drive myself in, but went through full day therapy and then half day therapy for a while, and that was tough too. It was tough on my business. It was tough on my family, but my wife's always been supportive. Like I said, that's been a nice support system to have. So we made it through that episode. But I was diagnosed with bipolar during that time, and I don't really like that label very much. Probably nobody does. Some people say you shouldn't fight it, but I just never imagined I would go through something like this, so I guess I do fight it a little bit. They also put me on Lamictal at that time. So I take 2 different medications, and we'll talk about meds as we go on, and different aspects of that. But anyway, as we've progressed through this, I have my ups and downs. I do have my manic phases, maybe not as much as some. I probably have more depression phases than manic phases. My manic phases are you know, I work a lot. get up very early. I'm excited about things. It's kind of nice sometimes. Sometimes I enjoy the manic phases, and my problem is I buy things. I'm a buyer, so I've been fortunate enough to be relatively successful. So that's what I do. I spend money. I spend money I probably shouldn't. But that being said, it's been an up and down roller coaster, like it is for a lot of people, with either bipolar or manic depression, kind of the same thing, but depression issues. It's really a roller coaster, and different things set you off. Mine is business. Let the truth be known. Business is going well. I feel pretty good, although I've had my downtimes when business was well. But right now business is horrible, and I'm having trouble dealing with it. And it's tough because I should be out there pushing as hard as I can, and I'm not. And I deal with the depression issues. So I thought I got to change. I got to do something different. What I'm doing isn't working, so let's make a change in it. So I thought of the video process. I've been paying attention to some YouTube videos, and I thought maybe through this process, not only have a log about what's happening in my life, but I could also share it with other people and hopefully help them out. I've always been one that likes to help people. The depression kind of puts you in, a state where you get selfish. You think about yourself a lot. You have the bad thoughts, stinking thinking, as I call it. And I'm hoping that this will help. So I'm going to go back to basics. I'm going to go back to what I call a three-legged stool, which a doctor taught me a few years ago, which is basically mind, body, and spirit. And I'm going to work on those three things every day, a little bit. And hopefully you'll join me in this journey if you're having issues, or if you have had them before and you found a way that you worked out or worked out of it, you'll be able to do that and help us out, work through this thing called depression, so we can start enjoying our life again. And that's what it's about. It's about getting back into life again. Depression's a lonely thing, and it's hard. It's really hard. Some people don't understand it, but it's a tough gig. And the mind, body, spirit thing is basically work on each one of those things. Your mind, which the stinking thinking goes back to, the thought processes, the racing thoughts, the different aspects that you deal with your mind. Your body, physical shape. Everybody knows that if we take care of ourselves, we feel better about ourselves. I go up and down with that like everybody else. Last year I lost 25 pounds. I was working out all the time. This year I can't seem to get myself into the gym. So I go up and down with that also. And the spirit. Spiritually, I'm wide open. I'm not going to force any kind of spiritual aspect on anybody's throat or anything. I'm wide open as far as that's concerned. I have some beliefs. We'll discuss those maybe in later episodes. But I think all those three things together will really help work through these issues, and at least get over the hump, and then maybe we can go from there. So that's basically it, folks. I'm hoping you'll join me on the journey. I'm going to be frank and open. I hope you are too. Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm doing the wrong thing. I can take it. Or say, hey, Mark, let's jump on this bandwagon and let's try and handle this whole thing together and see if we can all work through it and communicate and maybe push each other a little bit. Maybe that's not a bad thing. So take care. That's video 1, and next day or so we'll embark on this journey. Thanks.